back, and as promised, we are reading. We are taking it literally where we left off. But before I am read, that's why I'm wearing glasses today because we are reading. And I just want to maybe recap a little bit before I read a passage that I want to read and then talk to it and reflect on it and juxtapose it to today. And so where I left off when I stopped reading, I had already started getting into business. So we were reading chapter 8, which is titled Lebu the Entrepreneur. And I was just telling you about how I was working. One of my biggest skill and strength, even today, is sales. I used to sell. I used to have a very good relationship with my clients, of which most of them were parastatals, government departments. Very few, maybe not even very few, I think two were corporate, one of which was Sasol in Rosebank. And I just had a way with people. I had a way with connecting with both suppliers and customers, but mainly customers because, I am the one that's selling. So you connect a little bit more. I mean, selling is performative as well. But when you're a genuine salesperson at heart, I think it shows through. I connected with all sorts of people from white men at Dinell. I mean, Dinell was one of my clients. Amsco was one of my clients. I will never forget Amsco, that building in Pretoria, Kakwa, that go, towards mainland. It's a glass, beautiful building. I don't know if it's still Amsco, maybe it's no longer. And to get into Amsco, your car would be scanned. They would put those scanning things underneath, and then you'd have to have your ID. I mean, it's like getting a visa for the US. I don't know if, I have a visa to the US, got it recently in 2023. And just accessing that building is like, my God, do you guys not trust anybody? So Amsco, Dinell, SITA, no, not the SITAs, not the skills one, SITA, SITA, State Information Technology Agency was my clients, Departments of Justice in Pretoria, government printing, something like that, where they print all the documents in Pretoria was also my clients. So, I had a big clientele. From the parastatal side, I had the post office, I had City Power, City Water, Rand Water, Spornet, I tried. Spornet, Transnet, they had their own clicks. I tried and tried to penetrate there. I just couldn't. I think I once supplied accessories. By accessories, we mean the letter tray, the dustbin, whiteboards, white markers, because that's what I would supply. It wasn't just furniture, it was everything in an office, from a carpet to a board marker. The next thing I could have done was stationery, but I mean, I just felt, hey man, it's too much, I already have a lot. So in Johannesburg, it would be your Department of Communications, Department of Social Work, Department of Education, Department of Housing. I'm just trying to remember, I remember also, did I supply ANC? I don't think I did. I did tender for a deal. I never got it. But I was a really, really busy working girl, and sales was good. However, which is where I want to start reading, my margins were very, very low. I wasn't technically making money. I was bankrolling myself. You're not making enough. You're not even breaking even. You are actually running at a loss. Something that I get now as a grown up, as an older version of myself, that running at a loss for a while is actually part of normal business. A lot of businesses first run at a loss and then they break even and then they start to see a profit. It is normal. It is normal also when you have capital injection, which I did not have. So a lot of my money was yona, that sales little money that I'm getting. Those little margins, I would still use them to pay salaries. I had a showroom and an office in Edenvale. And then I had my life, which was not very extravagant, but it wasn't cheap either. I mean, I wasn't bowling so much, but I was living really, really okay. I was living like a proper middle class person. My kids went to good schools, not very private schools, but your good schools, your good old modern, Edenvale High. So went to Edenvale High, which is right up there with the best schools. Yeah, Edenvale High is right up there with the best schools in Johannesburg. And they went to good schools. Tau Atebe. There was no way. Tao came when I was tumbling down. Tao's birth. Tao was born in 2007 when I was in the middle of a bankruptcy. I was literally going bankrupt when that boy was born. 17 years ago. So it's a long time ago. It's a really long time ago. So it's important to just talk about it and share it and let it all go eventually. Even though I've written about it, but I realize that speaking about it now, as I said in the previous video, is like almost another layer of healing, another layer of healing. And it is all coming out. Just get out of your body, get out of your tissues, and really just step into a brand new way of being. And I'm saying this because I realized that a lot of my business way of doing a lot of my businesses that followed, because when Exquisite Interiors went under, I started another business which I wrote about in book two, and then also leading into now my life as a coach and a teacher. I realized that subconsciously I just wanted to recreate what I had. I just wanted to get back to making those types of monies, invoicing big amounts, like invoicing easily 400, 500,000. And I realized now, oh, so all along, I'm trying to recreate. I'm trying to like, okay, it went under, so I need to build again. Can't you know that's actually not what you need to do? What you need to do is literally step forward and become the teacher that you are. I mean, I think a lot of you love my teaching, especially my students on Patreon, and just step into teaching and serve. It's a new thing. It is no longer that. It's not a hustle mode. In as much as I am saying, no, I'm not hustling, but at the certain layer, I was hustling and I was trying to rectify the mistakes of the 20 something year old, the 26-year-old, 27-year-old that I was back then, instead of allowing what is to be, allowing what the now is, and forgiving and letting go of the 27-year-old, 26-year-old, 28-year-old that I was. And the point is that I am realizing now that all along, I've just been carrying this 29-year-old that lost everything, that this 30-year-old that lost everything. I was running all my affairs, all my businesses, trying to make amends, trying to fix her errors, instead of recognizing that you don't need to fix the errors of a 29-year-old, 30-year-old label. You need to allow what was to be. It was a business, it was a path, it was a chapter, and it went under. And learn the lessons that you were supposed to learn, and understand that, failure, sometimes it's not necessarily failure, it's a redirection. Had my office furniture business became an office furniture and booming, I would not be the teacher that I am today. It would have not taken me here. And maybe I was being shielded from something else. I mean, if you really think about the tendering business, who knows what would have happened to me? Perhaps, as the margins got lower and lower, I was going to get tempted because there were temptations galore, temptations, temptations of, you know, let's do something. They were there. I mean, they were there. I think what saved me na either ke lekwala or I don't know. I just always shied away from something that did not feel like it's okay with my soul or it's okay with me. And without really, it's going to be, I'm not going to say much about this part. I think you feel me. I think you know where I am, especially with what's happening now. You can put General Mkwanazi, what he has exposed, how the Tembisa Hospital, for an example, the entire procurement was just run by cartels and criminals, and things like office furniture, where tendering was a big deal. One was going to come across such. I mean, mentioning Transnet, for an example, that I could not get into Transnet much as I tried. And I remember Transnet, someone said to me, Transnet about third code, doing about user as a third code. And what that means is that, being a third quote means that, when procurement says we have to have three quotes before we can offer, but I would always be asked to quote and I would quote, but I would never get the deal. And someone says, no, third quote means you just you just fulfill the requirements, but no one is going to give you this business because this business has a name on it. It's going somewhere. It's not going to go to you. But Potnet, I remember back then, Potnet also, I would attend a lot of tenders, briefings, and I would I have filled in RFQ, I don't know how many times, you know. Oh, another company, another parastatal, I don't know if RAF parastatal, Road Accident Fund. Yeah, I got a lot of business there, really, really good, clean business, not hundreds of thousands. You know, your usual, your 30K, your 40,000, your 50,000. I never really got anything beyond 100K go RAF, but it was regular. Like, we want two chairs here, we want three chairs, we want a boardroom boardroom furniture, we want a training furniture. South African National Parks also was another one that I got a lot of business, also small Lanyana business. So, in hindsight, Shem, wait, the 30-year-old, not the 30-year-old, because the 30-year-old is the one who went bankrupt. The 25, 26, 27-year-old, really, I did work. And looking back, it's like, yeah, I really, really gave it a shot. It was just probably not a chapter that was meant to continue, and it came tumbling down. And yeah, and I spent my entire 30s, guys, my entire 30s clawing myself out of that hole. Okay, now we read. During the third year of business, things slowed across industry, affecting everyone in furniture and interior decorating and design. My part-time accountant had tried to warn me about the unsustainable margins that, the margins, remember, I would charge very, very low. So my part-time accountant had tried to warn me about it, who was also a friend of mine. But I did not listen. I listened to no one. Yes, I listened to no one those days, and I'll explain why. My main supplier, Mr. Brian Strang, was a wise old man, and he tried to talk to me. He suspected that my business was struggling because I no longer paid him regularly like I used to. He invited me for lunch at his house and told me about the dealers he had seen come and go in the 20 years in the furniture manufacturing business that he has been. So dealers were people like me, the middlemen, the business that I was in, I was supplying office furniture, but I'm the middle person. We buy from manufacturers, we sell to clients. So we were called dealers back then. Okay. He was determined to help me not to go the same route because he said he kept seeing dealers come and go, and the telltale signs were there with me. They start paying irregularly, not honoring invoices on time, or paying partially, or so and so and so. And usually it's the beginning of the end. And over the 20 years that he had been in business at the time, I was in my third year, he was over 20 years. Ah, man, there's something to be said about time and experience, right? So he was determined to help me not to go the same route and suggested that I give up the big office and the showroom and keep only one staff. At the time, I had three staff plus me and a part-time guy who used to do odd deliveries sometimes. So at any given month, I would be paying four people, maybe five, you know. I mean, not exorbitant salaries, just, a salary you pay someone for working, right? So he offered me part of his factory, like a portion in his factory, as space, not offered me the factory. A portion space, he offered me part of his factory rent-free, and he and his partners offered to teach me everything they knew about office furniture manufacturing and how to run a successful business. But I did not hear any of that. I did not hear it, like I couldn't hear it. All I heard was an old white man wanted to swallow me whole. And I'm going to stop here for today just to talk through why that is. So when you are young and you are in your 20s and you think you know what you're doing, you are highly unlikely to listen to anybody. Let's say, you know it all. And it's part of being youth. I remember one, I don't know if I read it or I heard it, but they say if you have not made mistakes, especially blunders, big blunders, it means you have not been youth, because the very thing of being youth is to make those mistakes. So also being youth is that you don't really listen to nobody. You know it all. You are the smart one. And so I literally could not hear anyone's advice. Even when my accountant saying, well, see, I get that you're getting a lot of sales, but you either need to get capital injection to, if you want to keep it up like this until you break even or you stabilize, but your margins are not going to sustain you unless if you keep getting business the way you're getting business. So essentially, she was saying the volume, the sheer volume of sales are the ones that are helping me. But should sales stop, which they did on the third year, business slowed. Which is why then Brian was like, you know what, let's talk. Maybe give up the showroom and the office, let the other people go. Come sit in this office. We will come work from here. And then now all I saw was, you know what, fronting is rife back then. A lot of white manufacturing firms were looking for Black women because that was the requirement. Government BEE laws, BEE codes were requiring Black people to be part of manufacturing. And I remember also that era because it was the early 2000s. The way after me, I started seeing a lot of Black people who are getting into both office furniture and stationery. And unlike me, they were not straight up dealers like me. They would be part of a manufacturing company, of a factory, and they would be directors, fronting, nje, which I did not want to be a part of. You know, I thought I don't need all of that. And also, it was punishable to be a front. It was bad. And I did not want to be tainted with it. So, what I had in my mind, Brian for me was going to make me a front. That's all I had. And I did not want any of that. But in hindsight, and you'll see when I read again in a day or two, that's not what he was doing. And I know this because things did get bad, as he warned me. And I ended up owing OCW, that firm, I think I ended up owing them just over 109, nearly 200,000. And he wrote it off. He literally wrote it off. And, you know, that happened through letters. And it's like, no, what you are going through, because I was going through bankruptcy, it was bad. Yo, ah, it was bad. And he said, you know what you are going through is punishment enough. There's no need for me to hunt you down. And it's business. We lose some, we gain some, and we made good business with you. Learn the lessons. And yeah, I mean, he said a lot of things which I'll share, you know, when I continue reading. But yeah, that's the bottom line is that now all I had was a white guy trying to make me a front. And I was not gonna have any of that. Was I right? Was I wrong? That doesn't matter. I was young and that was my path and that is the experience. Would I work with white people today if I get an opportunity like that where a white firm, let's say a white big coaching company, coaching and training and facilitating, if they say, listen, come join us as a director and this and this and that, oh yeah, I would do it. I would not even, obviously checking the if everything is above board, having proper agreements and all that, oh no, I would step in happily and be part of them. And I'll tell you why. I think because I now know that two heads are better than one. I also have a lot of experience in the industry. I have a lot of experience in the teaching and the coaching and the facilitating space. And I know for a fact that I would be adding value. I would not be taken like a young person to be groomed and whatever. I would know that I'm adding a lot of value. I'm bringing something, I'm putting something on the table. And I have come a long way to also understand that, you know, more collaboration than competition. So yeah, I would definitely take it. I would definitely consider partnering with them. Not they don't even necessarily have to be white for that matter. I'm just now talking generally also about collaboration. But even if it was a white coaching company that says, look, do you want to be part of it? I think I would do it. Yeah. And guys, this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.